give a sneak preview. We talked about the cloud and we talked about MYOB Advanced. Now, a lot of XO users out there, we trust that happy XO users, you can stay on XO for as long as you like and have that clouded, as we found out. That's all available. But what we also want to do is show you that your business partners have the option of MYOB Advanced to take you there too, should the time come now in the future when that's the right time. So I'll hand back to Stephen to once again lead with his chin and introduce us to this next segment. Thanks, Steve. Over to you.
The joke that never ends. Is that right, Grant?
I think that'll be the last one. You'll be good from here.
Oh, I'm sure it won't be. I'm sure it won't be. Well, look, I'm going to just very quickly run through a little bit of an introduction. We're looking forward to handing over to Susanna, who's going to walk us through MYOB Advanced. But yes, the purpose of this sneak peek is really just to give you a little bit of a perspective of some of the things about MYOB Advanced where it differentiates itself from XO. Susanna is going to take the approach of walking through a day in the life of the accounts payable person, the accounts payable clerk, and really just looking at some of those complete control aspects that Advanced does well. So looking at security, control, governance, the ability to deal with expanding financial management needs, such as through automated deferrals, approvals, visibility of data through dashboards and on-screen inquiries, and of course, the power of mobility as an enabler for your employees. Without any further ado, I am going to stop my share and pass straight over to Susanna. Are you there, Susanna?
Yes. Hello.
Fantastic. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Okay. Yes, I'm going to run through or journey through the role of an accounts payable staff member and how they're going to interact with Advanced. Just going to do a very simple example of processing an accounts payable purchase order through to invoice, and then see how some of these additional features in Advanced come into play, particularly around approvals, process automation, and audit and notifications. I think that's all we'll have time for today. I do have an additional fourth box on the screen there, which is around user access. Advanced does have highly configurable user access by role, by screen, down to the field level on each screen. So that's also just something to be aware of. Okay. So I have Advanced opened up here. And as I've logged in, I've arrived onto the user's dashboard. So this is an AP specific dashboard, and that shows me key metrics around my accounts payable functions, top 10 suppliers, AP bills due, total by supplier. Down the bottom here, I've got an audit report basically telling me anything changed on a supplier account throughout the system. All right, so we're going to go, just going to get my mobile app ready. So I'm going to go into purchases and create a new PO. So just keep it nice and simple. And the system will bring up the purchase order screen here. And I'm going to enter an upcoming insurance bill for the year, business insurance against my supplier GIOs. So just selecting them there and typing in a description. And then I'll just quickly enter something in my line. And that's come through at $3,600 for the year. So we'll just keep it at that. Okay. So as the purchasing officer or whoever's responsible, you might be the accounts payable staff, they're going to take this off hold and save the record. Okay, you'll notice straight away that the status of this transaction has moved on to pending approval. Okay, so I do have an approval map set up in the system that creates this status. If I go into approval details, you'll see today, I'm actually the designated approver, but that can be anyone, any employee or anyone belonging to a specific work group. You can see as I scroll to the right here that it is being dictated by this approval map purchase order 1 level. Just a quick note on approval maps, you are able to have function-specific approval maps available in the system. So I do have this one for purchase orders. You may have a separate one altogether for AP, a separate one altogether for your expense claims and time cards, you know, whatever functions you're using in the system, each of those can have distinct approval maps. Okay, so I can see here that if I go into this all emails, so this is the email engine in the system, I can see that this PO awaiting your approval, purchase order 126, which we just placed, has been processed. So if I go into my demo email inbox, I'll see this email has arrived and this is what the approver should expect to see. Dear manager, purchase orders waiting for your approval. So they've got a couple of options. They can either click this link and it will take them directly to the platform from their email. Alternatively, they can go onto the mobile app, which I've got here. I hope everyone can see that pretty well. And you'll see that sort of halfway down the screen, I've got my approvals. And it's going to load. And there's my PO number 126 at the top there. So I've got the option of clicking on that transaction to review, and it's going to bring through all related information. You can see document details, totals, any notes, any attachments that have come through. And I can click this 3 dots and then just approve as such. And you'll notice this approve toggle has been actioned there. Alternatively, if you're like me and you're responsible for approving lots of different things in the system, you'll notice you've got purchase orders, leave requests, bills, timesheets as well might be in here, and you can do bulk approvals if you wanted to and just select which ones you want to approve and then just click that approve option at the bottom. Okay, so I will just exit that and minimize my mobile. Okay, so once that transaction's approved, then the accounts payable invoice is issued. And the next step will be to process this purchase order into an invoice. So from the actions menu here, I'm going to just refresh my screen. Okay, so now I can see that's been on a status of open. The system will track against this transaction all of the audit history. I'm going to enter an AP bill now. So this is a non-stock purchase, so I don't require any receipting of any goods. Coming into here, okay. And I'm going to enter my accounts payable invoice. Okay, that's my invoice number. And a couple of things I want to point out here in this screen. So during this process, you might decide you want to update bank account details if they've changed, if there's a notice to say that they've changed. So you can then, if you have security rights and access, you can come into the payment settings tab and update. So often we lock this screen completely off from users. So, but if I was to change that, I could save that there. Okay. And I might also want to allocate a deferral code. So in the bottom of my screen here in the lines, the system has a concept of automatic deferrals where you can run your deferral recognition at the end of the month and maintain all of your deferral schedules, which are currently done, usually done in Excel, often in this case. So once you've set up all of your deferral codes, and I've just got one set up here, simple 12-month amortization of this transaction, double click, and it's entered that there for me. So I will take this off hold. And again, it's pending approval. I have approval maps turned on for my bill. So today I'll just approve that one quickly. And I'm able to now release that into the GL. Okay, so from here, there's a couple of things to show. So we did get an email firing out of the system to notify the security user, which again, today is me, say that the payment settings of supplier GAO has been modified. And so if I pull up my email, you'll see this again. Hello, this is email to notify. So with, you know, all these notifications are automated in the system. They can be set up and tagged against that, that change. Also worthwhile pointing out is if I go into the supplier, so this is what we call field level auditing. I go into my audit history, so this is available on all screens. You can see here on the 11th at 3:45, I can open the changes and see that my, in this case, my BSP payment method was changed to 012558. So the system is tracking that very nicely for me. It's also going to appear on my Payables report. So the same report that was pinned to our dashboard, I've just got running as an inquiry screen in the system. And there it is again, 3:45, my value for the BSP has been logged and changed. Okay, so finally, let's quickly touch on, I'm just conscious of time, the deferral mechanisms in the system. So there is a whole module on deferrals. And if you recall, on our bill, we allocated a deferral code of 12 months. So now if I go into my deferral schedules, I will be able to see, I just go in there, there's my GIO. And it's automatically, as I released that to the GL, it's automatically created all of my future dated invoices for the next 12 months, okay? So that's the deferral schedule there. And then the next, so the last piece in the puzzle is to actually run the deferral recognition. So this is the step that happens, you know, CFOs, financial controllers usually doing this at the end of the month. So you would run your recognition. If I extend that out to 31 March, I should see there's my one GIO insurance that we created for $300. And then I can either select all and then hit process, or I can just do them on an individual basis. So you are able to just run your recognition for your deferral. This is actually for revenue and expenses. You can have different deferral codes and amortize revenue and expense transactions. And what a lot of our users are doing, in fact, is using this automation schedule to set and forget. So they're going to create an automation schedule that effectively says, take all of my deferral schedules and run the recognition based on the conditions. I'm going to do this daily, weekly, usually it's monthly. And then you set the next execution date, save it, and then it will happen in the background at the end of every month for the next, you know, as per the deferral schedule that's been created in the system. So that sort of concludes my presentation, just to touch on all of those different 4 key areas that the system offers around security and control. Thank you, and I will hand back now to Grant.